if I can get my Visual Studio window open, and let's go ahead and do some stuff. So first of all, I'm going to start off the program with using system. I know that my program is going to be using quite a few classes from the system namespace, so I'll just put that up there preemptively. All programs in C#, or all code in C# has to be in a type of some kind, such as a class. You cannot have floating functions or variables or anything like that like you can in other languages. Then I'm going to have a public static void main, which again is going to be the entry point to our application. So the first goal of this program is to identify how much money the user currently has. So I'm going to start off accomplishing that goal first. So I'll do that by putting in a decimal money to represent how much money the user has, as well as a Boolean indicating if they've entered their amount of money correctly. So has entered money. And we'll default this Boolean to false. Next up, I'm going to enter a while loop while we have not entered money. I don't know if we talked about the not operator, but I can just toss that in right now. It's early in class. The not operator is this little exclamation point right here. It is the equivalent of saying if has entered money is false. It does the exact same thing. It's just a shorthand for doing that because it's so common. This is such a common pattern that we have a bit of syntax for it. So I'm going to say while we do not have our money entered, I'll prompt the user for their money. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to enter in a, I'm going to say has entered money equals decimal.tryparse, passing in the result of console.readLine with an out parameter or an out argument of money. So that just says try to get the input from the console, stuff it into decimal. If you can do that, return true and stuff the result of the parsing into this money variable, otherwise return false. So then I can now say if not has entered money, which will happen if they've failed to enter a valid number, I can say console write line invalid input. So at this point, again, it's good to kind of get, or when you write your software, money won't be definitely assigned, unfortunately, even though statically you could prove that it would be definitely assigned. So I'm going to initialize money to 0. But anyway, it's good to write your programs in little steps. So we've accomplished our first goal, and I just tossed in a console write line down here just to make sure that I can actually run this program and it'll accomplish what I want it to. And we see that it does. So we've gotten through the first step. We have successfully received decimal input from the user. So that's nice. But next up, yes, while the while statement is a loop. This code will continue to execute until this condition is false. So until not has entered money is false, which is a double negative, kind of, then this code will continue to loop over and over and over again. I can prove that by just sitting here and giving it bogus input. You know, it'll sit there and wait for me to type in proper input, and then it'll finally exit the while loop. So next up, we have, I'll go ahead and print out how much money you have. I'll say console write line, you have